And I want to welcome you to this edition of the Native News Update on this Tuesday, January 31st. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The U.S. Marshals Service in Minnesota is asking for the public's help to find 3 suspected members of the Native mob gang who are at large in the Great Lakes. The 3 men are wanted as part of an indictment unsealed last week that accuses 24 suspected Native mob members of racketeering and other charges. Official issued wanted posters for 33-year-old Wakinyan Wakan MacArthur of Bemidji, 24-year-old Christopher Lee Wowry of Cass Lake, Minnesota, and 23-year-old Eric Lee Bauer of White Earth. Officials say the 3 men should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is asked to call the U.S. Marshals Service tip line at 651-848-1444. U.S. Attorney John Walsh says the Bureau of Indian Affairs officer justifiably fired a deadly shot at a hatchet welding suspect who was a member of the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. In a letter sent recently to Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Chairman Gary Hayes, Walsh says Lieutenant Joseph Keogh reasonably concluded that he faced death or serious bodily harm from Spencer Posey. Keogh told FBI investigators that Posey yelled that he was going to kill him and charged at Keogh with a hatchet in hand last May 22nd. Keogh fired a single shot, striking Posey in the abdomen. Posey died the next day. Keogh had responded to a report of a shirtless, intoxicated man outside of a home in Towak, Colorado. Some Wyoming state lawmakers want to give Wind River Reservation Police the power to ticket and arrest non-tribal drivers. The legislature's Select Committee on Tribal Relations is proposing a bill that would give Bureau of Indian Affairs officers that limited authority. One of the committee members, Senator Cale Casey, told KCWY-TV that it would prevent the reservation from being used by speeders as a safe haven. Currently, officers can detain non-tribal drivers, but they have to ask law enforcement from outside the reservation if someone needs to be ticketed or arrested. KC said the other officers may be 70 miles away. Fremont County Sheriff Skip Horniker said has some concerns about the bill. He says he doesn't favor expanding federal authority. He also thinks sobriety checkpoints for non-tribal drivers could be challenged. The board of directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa tribe has voted to move forward with a proposed $245 million casino in downtown Lansing, Michigan. Roger Martin, a spokesman for the tribe, said in an email that the board voted 8-2 during last week to approve the agreement with the city of Lansing. Backers of the Keeway Din Lansing Casino plan announced the proposal for the casino the day before and said that it would create about 1,500 permanent jobs and 700 construction jobs. Money also could be used to fund scholarships for area students. The plan would still need the approval of the Interior Department. On February 2nd, the LCOOCC College will continue its hands-on workshops in food preservation with dehydrating and making venison jerky. Geraldine Berg, Master Food Preserver, will present information and practical experience for putting up vegetables and dehydrating them. Afterwards, participants will learn how to make venison jerky. There is no cost, and a light supper will be offered at 5 p.m. Learn something and then get fed, see? For more information or to register for the dehydrating and jerky making workshop, you can call Amber Marlowe at 715-634-4790, extension 156. The LCO Community College is located on Trepanier Road off the intersection of K and E, 10 miles southeast of Hayward, Wisconsin. A South Dakota bill that removes a 2-year time limit for building American Indian nursing homes receiving Medicaid dollars has passed the Senate committee. Senate Bill 69 now heads to the full Senate. In 2010, lawmakers lifted a moratorium on receiving the state's Medicaid dollars to cover care at these nursing facilities, but construction was limited to a 2-year period. Senate Bill 69 removes the time limit. Senator James Bradford is one of the sponsors of that bill. He says the state does not cover construction costs, so fundraising for building fees and construction remains a challenge given hard times in this recession. The Bemidji Public Library in northern Minnesota offers a monthly book discussion program. The next scheduled sessions are on Monday, February 6th at noon and also on Thursday, February 9th at 7 p.m. The discussion program will run for approximately an hour each. At these two sessions in February, the book for discussion will be The Wolf at Twilight, an Indian Elder's Journey Through a Land of Ghosts and Shadows by Kent Nerburn. The author is a local Bemidji, Minnesota author, and he will be joining everybody on Monday, February 6th during the noon session. Almost half of American Indians and Alaska Natives identify themselves as multiple racial identity, or multiple races, representing a group that grew by 39% over a decade, according to the U.S. Census data released last week. Of the 5.2 million American people counted as natives in 2010, nearly 2.3 million reported being native in combination with one or more of 6 other race categories, showcasing a growing diversity among native communities. Those who added black, white, or both as a personal identifier made up 84% of the multiracial group. Tribal officials and organizations look to the census data for funding, to plan communities, to foster solidarity amongst tribes, and for accountability from federal agencies that have a trust responsibility with Native tribal members. And that's going to be another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. Miigwech for joining in, and come back again soon.